All right, let's proceed to our seated chair static stretching and maybe a little bit of dynamic movement as well. This is great for a cool down at the end of the workout, or if you need to take a break after you've taken a walk, or if you'd like to get some additional movement in while seated at your desk. So let's find a chair that has 4 legs and preferably no wheels, just for safety. It's helpful that the chair has a back and optimal if it does not have arms. All right, so let's begin. Starting seated at the edge of your chair, let's take one leg and then the other out. Thinking about planting the feet evenly into the floor. So we think about pressing underneath the big toe on the foot, underneath the pinky toe, and under the heel. So pressing those 3 points evenly into the floor or onto the mat anytime your feet make contact with the floor, so that we can create a stable foundation and engage our muscles evenly throughout our legs. So, having said that, seated at the edge of the chair, thinking about the pelvic bowl and making sure it is nice and even as best as possible. So what I mean is, if you find yourself slouching, sort of how we text usually throughout the day or type, see if you can lift your heart slightly and feel that hip, that pelvic bowl, go from tilting backwards to evening out a bit. Great. So starting in some seated lateral stretches. Taking one hand to the thigh, reaching the arm up and over. Let's inhale back up and exhale the other side. Inhale, rise up. Exhale down. Inhale up and exhale over. So keeping the spine in a neutral position. We don't have to rotate upwards too much, and we don't want to be rotating down towards the floor. It's a nice and straight spine. So let's take it over and hold. Relaxing both shoulders down away from the ears, reaching the pinkies of the fingers, all the fingers towards the wall. Breathing into the side. And then gently rising up and switching sides. Reaching up and over. If you want to feel a little bit extra sensation, you can rotate your heart slightly towards the ceiling, keeping those feet pressing evenly into the floor. And then rise back up and relax. You can grab under each thigh to bring the feet together, or you can just step them together. From here, we're going into a seated twist assisted with the chair. So let's go to one side. In this case, going to the right side. And we're going to take our right hand to the back of the chair. This already begins our stretch. With our right hand pressing against the chair, the left hand holds onto the closer end, taking a breath in, sitting with a long spine, and keeping the knees facing the wall. Exhale and gently twist, using your hands holding onto the chair as an assistant. Remembering that where the eyes go, the body follows. So see if you can look just a little farther as you breathe. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, twist just a little bit farther. And then coming back, relaxing, maybe doing a shoulder roll. From here, we're going to go into a hip extension, so a nice hip stretch. Still starting from this position, I'd like you to sit towards the middle of the chair and then hang one leg off. So in this case, it's the right leg hanging off the side of the chair, and then keeping the left foot planted, we slowly just wiggle or extend that other leg as far back as possible, remembering that this whole side of our hip is off the chair, and then we straighten that back leg. So my torso is in line with that planted foot that's facing the side. And this hip is straight and stretching from the hip flexor, from the front of the leg, all the way down. If you want to see if you can get a little more sensation, relax the knee just a little bit, and then try straightening one more time. Again, the shoulders stay in line with the hips, facing the side, and we find that stretch in the hip, keeping the heart lifted as we breathe. Let's take one more breath in, and then exhale. Come on to the center of the chair and walk your way over to the other side. Seeing why it's important to have no arms on the chair if possible, so we can do these moves. So now sitting at the edge of the other side of our chair. Now taking our left hand back behind us and reaching the back of the chair, the far side of the chair. Other hand comes to the close side, keeping the knees in a straight line. Don't bring them with you. Inhale, lengthen your spine upwards. Exhale, use the hands, twist gently, looking over the shoulders. Arms are relaxed, jaw is relaxed. Every exhale, you get a little bit deeper into the stretch. So let's take one more breath in. Exhale, twist just a millimeter farther. And then gently release. A shoulder shrug or two if it feels good. And then sitting back towards the middle of the chair, still facing the side. Gently wiggle until now the left leg is off of the chair. So from here, once that front leg is planted, we just go ahead and wiggle back that left leg, and then we straighten for our hip stretch. Breathe. Spine is tall. Imagining a string is drawing the crown of the head upwards. Shoulders in line with hips, in line with the front leg, which is pressing flat onto the floor for that stable support. But then the back heel is lifted, meaning the front 2 points on that foot is still pressing evenly into the floor. You can soften for a moment if you want, and then straighten once more. Thinking about that pelvic roll. Again, it's naturally going to want to tilt forward, especially if there's tightness here, but just the act of a gentle tuck under, very slight, you're going to start to feel more stretch, more sensation in the hip. And we know that we want to get to a point where it can feel a little uncomfortable, but never painful. Right, so I'm done talking here. Take one more breath in. Exhale out and wiggle yourself back to the front. And since our legs are nice and wide, let's go ahead and fold our hands to the floor and all the way back. If it's comfortable, walk the hands between the legs of the chair and release all the tension out of your neck. It's a great inner thigh stretch. And also relieving tension in the head, so just shaking it out. Let's take one more breath in here, and then walk the hands forward. Take one hand to the thigh, the other hand up, shoulders up, and then down and back as you breathe. Great, bring the legs together. Returning to sitting on the edge of the chair, feet flat on the floor. Let's go ahead and extend the left leg forward. So make sure you can see. Back up just a bit. So sitting on the edge of the chair, first drawing the toes towards the head, keeping that left leg as straight as possible, and that other leg bent to the point where the knee's on top of the ankle. So if it's close, you don't feel as stable and supported, so go ahead and take it out. Now, one more deep breath in here. And as you exhale, gently walk the hands down that straightened leg, keeping the heart drawing forward and the leg as straight as possible, feeling the stretch in the hamstring as you breathe. Keeping the spine as straight as possible will increase the intensity of the pose. Remembering that the goal isn't to touch your toes, it's simply to feel a great stretch. If you want to add a little extra stretch, press your toes down to the floor right here. Simple movement, but now feeling a lengthening and a stretch down the shin. Breathe. Maybe almost feeling it into the ankle and the foot. And then slowly sit back up, step the feet out, and then extend the right leg forward. Toes drawing towards the head, still sitting on the edge of the chair. Taking a breath in, straight spine. Exhale and walk the hands down the leg till it feels like a really intense stretch, but it doesn't hurt. Breathe. Sometimes when we go into stretches where our body is particularly tight, our body has a response of tightening up even more as a protection mechanism, saying, oh, we don't go that far, let's not do that. But then as you override that response by staying there, your body will respond and say, oh, this is cool, we can do this, we made to do this. And then it relaxes, and then you can maybe go a little bit farther into the stretch than when you started. Breathe. Bonus stretch. Press your toes down onto the floor like you're pushing a gas pedal, and notice the stretch down the shin, down the ankle, right into the toes. And then go ahead and walk back up. Walk the feet out. From here, seated cat and cow. So again, sitting at the edge of the chair, feet hip distance apart, hands on the thighs. For cow, inhale, draw the shoulders back, press the chest forward, let the hips tilt forward as much as they need to. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the navel into the spine, round the shoulders, spread the shoulder blades, and tuck the chin. So we might gently rock back as well. And then we continue as we breathe. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat, taking as much time in each pose as you need to. So you can hold the cat stretch for a few seconds if it feels good. And you can hold the cow stretch for a while if it feels good as well. All right, taking a break from the legs and stretching some of the arms. So let's take the left arm across, draw it in with the right arm, and then pull the shoulder down. Stretching the top of the shoulder, the deltoid muscle, as you breathe. And then coming on to the other side, we relax. And then draw the other arm across. Gently bring it in with the arm and bring the shoulder down away from the ear as you breathe. And then slowly release. Taking the left arm straight up, pat yourself on the back. And then grab that elbow, lift it up over the head for a triceps stretch. Perfect. Keeping the heart lifted and breathing comfortably. And relax down, switching sides. Pat yourself on the back because of how awesome you are. Grab the elbow, lift it up, and relax into the stretch. Let's take one more breath in. Exhale, relax down. Shoulders up to the ears and back down. 2 more times. Just getting the tension out of the shoulders and relax. And speaking of shoulders, let's go ahead and stretch the neck down towards the arm as well. So taking the left hand, fingertip touch only to the other side of the head, right where the temple is at. The only movement comes from gentle pressure of those fingers, stretching the neck as it gently tilts the head towards the arm. Both arms are relaxed, just feeling this teeny tiny stretch and lengthening in your neck as you breathe. Being sure not to rotate upwards or downwards or to force any extra movement. You'll already notice a deep stretch from a very slight touch. Gently rise up and come to the other side. Very gentle pressure. Breathe. Relax the arms. Nice gentle movement. And then slowly come up, relax the arm down, returning to our legs for a final stretch, taking a seated figure 4. So this might be how you sit normally in a chair or similar, but here we're going to be a little more intentional with it. So let's start by taking the right leg with the feet flat on the floor. Let's bring the right leg up, and then with grabbing the ankle or the leg, sitting it on top of the thigh. So making sure we're, again, at the edge of the chair, sitting on the edge of our bums. And this right here might be enough of a stretch for you. And if that's the case, stay here and breathe through it. If you want to feel a little bit more sensation, we have some options. First of all, just like in that forward leg stretch that we did, as you hinge forward from your hips, keeping the spine as straight as possible, you'll feel an increase in tension and stretch in the hips. So that's option 1. If you want to feel a little bit more opening, go ahead and take that arm onto the leg and apply very gentle pressure until you feel that slight discomfort, but it doesn't hurt. Breathe. Maybe we lean just a little farther forward. Slowly come up, uncross the leg, and then switch sides. Plant that foot onto the ground and then grabbing gently, being kind to our knees, sitting up tall and seeing where our body wants to go from here. Leaning forward, hinging forward, heart presses forward. If we want to feel more sensation, taking the arm to the thigh and gently opening that knee out just a bit. And remember, you can always adjust. If you get into a position it doesn't feel just right, just reset and try again. There's infinite do-overs in stretching. Breathe. And then gently rise up. Uncross the legs. Shake out the feet if it feels good. Take a breath in, arms overhead. Exhale the hands to your heart. And give yourself a hand for showing up for yourself today, enjoying this stretch. I hope you feel amazing. I hope you feel a little more relaxed, and I hope you stay strong.